Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Claire and I travel with my dog Daisy. And today I would like to talk about 3 things that can prove to be very dangerous. And these mainly were a concern when I was in my Toyota Corolla, which I lived in for a year and a half. However, these can pose a threat in any vehicle. And it's not just if you live in your car. I think it's just when you do live in your vehicle, the more time you spend, it's just the chances are that more of these things are going to come up. So it's not that you're not immune from any of these risks just because you don't live in your vehicle, but the more time you spend in it, the more that can go wrong. So number 1, these extra long power cords. I'm not kidding. These are dangerous. It's not as bad. I don't use it, but it's not as bad in my van. I feel like there is more space between the outlet thing and where I'm having my phone up here or wherever. It was particularly dangerous in my Corolla, in my sedan. I actually was driving. I was doing a delivery app. I was out on a job and the cord got wrapped around the steering column and it got stuck. Fortunately, I was just turning around in a cul-de-sac, so it wasn't like this catastrophic thing, but it was very scary. I couldn't move my steering wheel. It would not maneuver. So be very careful about these extra long power cords. I love them for when I'm sitting outside like at Starbucks and I'm charging a device, or you can think of 1,000 reasons how this would come in handy, but be careful in the car. My favorite snacks, very dangerous. This is like my favorite snack, and it consists of like kind of a heavy bottle, glass bottle. And what happens is, like, when I drink these things, like if I was in the back seat or something, and I try and pick up after myself whenever I can. I'm clean, I promise, but sometimes I'll forget about it. Like something will happen and I'll be drinking my snack in the back seat and then I'll forget about it. And the next thing I know, these things roll and it can get very dangerous because they can get lodged where your gas pedal is or your brake is. Again, in the van, it's not as much of an issue because it's bigger and there's not as much space for it to get lodged in there. But that happened to me as I was driving and the thing rolled under. And yeah, just be careful because things happen. So watch out for these. And it's not like the plastic, I mean, that's bad enough. But the glass bottles, they're particularly dangerous because they're not malleable at all. So you're not going to be able to, put your brake down or do anything. So watch out for that. I'm not kidding you. This is like my favorite snack. Like, I love cashews. I'm actually a lot more careful about this now. This is probably like the worst one. I was eating snacks for a while, and like what happens is, like in your seatbelt, like where you put the buckle in, there's like that opening right there, and these little pieces, they can like fall in, and after a while it can actually get to where you can't like buckle your seatbelt in because it'll block it. And this was like kind of a process. I know that sounds like so disgusting. It's like, okay, are you sure it's only like one animal in the vehicle? Like I know that sounds bad, but I mean, life happens, right? I mean, you're on the go and maybe it's a sunflower seed and it's just, maybe you're like, I don't know, all of a sudden you realize you missed like a call on your app, like to pick up food or something, and then you're just like, oh my goodness, I need to get to Popeyes or whatever, and then it's just like that and your stuff flies and anything can happen. But I'm really embarrassed, but I feel, okay, can I just stop and say that, like, if it were not for YouTube, I feel like I would just be sitting in a corner somewhere literally just crying. I don't know where, but I would just be in a corner crying because I've learned so much from YouTube. I learned how to hustle. I learned reselling, like eBay, like so much stuff. I learned to not just hide in the shadows as somebody, like living in my van. I just feel like I want to, like, I feel like it's not that, like, I feel like I owe it necessarily, but I just naturally, I want to give back any morsel of information. But watch out for this one because it's so embarrassing. But there was a point in my Corolla where my life was a lot more chaotic, and actually both of these things got lodged. I started using the buckle on the other side, like on the far side, but then sometimes I would get better Wi-Fi. Sometimes if I would go places and I would sit in the passenger seat and I would have a snack, and then that one got messed up. It's so embarrassing, and I'm so embarrassed about it, but I actually was driving around for a little bit like without a seatbelt on, and it was very difficult to fix. Like I came to like having to like pour boiling water in there to like finally like some scissors got it out. And so like the nuts, they're kind of hard because they really get lodged in there. So what I suggest doing, what I'm doing is I take painter's tape and tape over your like the crevice, and if you're not using it, or if you know you're going to be eating, or at least cover one of them so you have one of them always available. So those are the 3 most dangerous things that I've encountered so far as a vehicle dweller, as a nomad. That was it for me. Thanks for watching.